the sole concept made logical and tangible. When you look carefully at emotions, you see that they do not know a difference in time or space. Emotions are triggered mainly by two components: a memory, M, reactivated by current circumstances, C, and often amplified by these circumstances. But memories do not make a distinction between a memory from yesterday and one from 20 years ago, whether it is a conscious memory or a subconscious memory. It is merely reactivated the moment something in our current circumstances vaguely reminds us of that memory, which in turn activates emotions, and when it feels unsafe, activates our survival mechanisms like fight, flee, freeze, and fawn. But memory does not make a distinction in time. When activated, it feels urgent through emotions, no matter when the memory took place. Therefore, we state that memory is timeless. It is even possible that a memory is reactivated while it is an inherited one transferred to us via transgenerational trauma. We know, for instance, that the memory imprint of Holocaust survivors also impacts their offspring, even when their offspring have not had the actual experience themselves. In this video we propose that memories, personal or transgenerational or even societal, for example war, leaves an imprint in our DNA. Even memories from a time long past, generation ago. And we posit, again, our formula E equals M times C squared, memory times circumstances times conscious attention squared. Adding that emotions, as a consequence of extended memory response, activated by circumstances or conscious attention, lead to our behavior. We act on emotions, so emotions lead to output we call actions, behavior, apathy, procrastination, etc. We also know from science that humans emit electromagnetic energy, EM, through thoughts, the heart, the aura, actions, and behavior. The question is why? What is the function of these EM emissions? This is one of the most fundamental questions in the entire consciousness biology interface, and the answer is far more profound than most people realize. We state that human electromagnetic emission, EM, is not a byproduct, it is a communication, regulation, and synchronization system between the body, the collective, and the environment. What science already knows about human EM emissions: A. The heart emits the largest EM field of the body, up to 3 to 4 meters outside the body, measured by magnetocardiograms. Contains real-time information about emotional states. Experiments, Heart Math Institute plus independent labs, show your emotional state modulates this field. Other people's nervous systems entrain to it. This is not woo, it's simple physics. Oscillators in proximity do sync. B. The brain emits electrical and magnetic fields, EEG equals electric fields. MEEG equals magnetic fields, measurable outside the skull. Thought equals EM pattern. Belief equals stable EM pattern. Trauma equals recurrent EM attractor pattern. C. The body as a whole emits EM signals, every cell maintains a transmembrane potential. Ion channels produce currents. Cytoskeletal structures, microtubules, exhibit quantum resonance. The fascia network behaves like an electric communication web. Muscles emit EM waves during contraction. The DNA itself emits ultra-weak biophotons, proven by Pop, 1992. So yes, humans broadcast constantly. But now the big question remains, why? Why does biology emit EM fields? EM emission must have a function. Evolution does not waste energy. The functions science currently recognizes: A. Internal body regulation. Cells communicate electrically to synchronize organs, coordinate immune responses, regulate heartbeat, synchronize brain rhythms, transmit signals faster than chemical diffusion allows. The human body is effectively a bioelectromagnetic network. B. Social communication. Humans influence one another's cortisol levels, emotional states, heart rate variability, limbic activation patterns, decision-making. EM fields mediate subtle nonverbal communication. This explains why anxious people make a room tense, why calm people regulate others, why empaths feel overwhelmed, why children borrow emotional states from parents, why trauma spreads generationally even without words. It's entrainment physics. See environmental synchronization. Humans entrain to Schumann resonance, 7.83 Hz. Geomagnetic activity. Solar cycles. Local EM conditions. Sleep cycles, stress, intuition, and cognition all shift with these EM fluctuations. To biology, this is weather. To consciousness, it's frequency context. The information storage and coherence. Biophoton emission from DNA appears to be involved in cellular communication, morphogenesis, timing of cell division, coordinating tissue growth. This suggests the human EM field is part of the organism's information storage and self-organizing mechanism. So, science already knows EM emission is not random. In simple words, EM emission is how you announce yourself, to your body, to the world, to other people, and to the oversoul if you want to make it spiritual. Science acknowledges the heart's EM field synchronizes other hearts. Group meditation changes local EM coherence. The brain entrains to external fields. Emotional states modulate EM patterns. Non-coding DNA emits biophotons that may regulate cell function. The fascia forms a body-wide electromagnetic communication system. Microtubules show quantum coherence behavior. Hameroff, Penrose. The body responds to extremely low-frequency EM signals from environment. Though disconnected, all this points to EM emission as a complex signaling and coherence system, not a byproduct. But now we go deeper. The barcode model, what EM emission actually does. Now imagine the following. Humanity's story begins with a simple truth: we are not separate individuals with isolated souls. What we call soul is actually the individualized expression of the collective electromagnetic EM field of humanity, the shared emotional, psychological, and ancestral memory of the species. Every human life is a localized node of that field. Just as DNA carries biological information, the collective EM field carries emotional and experiential information. The collective memory, M. Children inherit not only genes but the emotional history of their parents, ancestors, societies, and the entire human collective. This shared field contains all the unresolved wounds of humanity. These wounds shape perception. This is where the soul depicted as barcode model comes in. Not metaphorical fluff, it actually maps onto physics, human design mechanics, and trauma psychology. We posit that memory does not make a distinction in time. It appears as if it happened somewhere in the past, yes, but it leads to an emotional charge as if it is happening or re-happening right now, and that's how we respond to it, with immediate behavior as if it is urgent and imminent. Hence we state that, when it comes to memory and subsequently emotions, time is an illusion. We deposit the thought that therefore, all memories, personal, societal and collective, are filed in what we call the barcode of our DNA. We stated before, human EM emission is not a byproduct, it is a communication, regulation, and synchronization system between the body, the collective, and the environment. Hence, our personal DNA, our barcode, our memories and emotions, and behavior emit EM energy which communicates with the collective EM field, and, subsequently, the collective EM field gives feedback to our personal EM field. And this collective EM field is not just a file of the current collective situation, it also holds the memory imprint of every conscious being that ever walked the face of the earth, or maybe, the universe. All emotional or memory timelines exist simultaneously as encoded vibrations. On personal, collective and universal, consciousness, level. Note, even science cannot prove the past, only the now, last Thursday theory. Observation or conscious attention determines which part of the personal and collective barcode strip is rendered as now, and how this determines our emotions, identity and behavior. The barcode analogy therefore equals DNA equals multidimensional timeline storage. This is where it becomes scientifically elegant. DNA already works in barcoding systems in biology. Biologists literally describe sections of DNA as bars of encoded information. Now extend this. Epigenetic markers store emotional charges, MNE equals MC squared. Transgenerational trauma is stored as chemical modifications along the bars. The bars in the code strip correspond not only to ancestral timelines but to multidimensional concurrent lifelines. So the barcode becomes a storage matrix of all possible emotional, experiential, ancestral and parallel life signatures. There is nothing here that contradicts known biology, it only extends its meaning. Observation, C squared or circumstances and conscious attention in our formula selects which bars light up. With this we give you a neuropsychological and metaphysical explanation for why trauma loops feel inescapable, why humans prefer bad news over good news, why the collective gets addicted to fear-based narratives, why media manipulation works, why unhealed people attract similar experiences, why the reincarnation loop feels like a trap. Because every external fear stimulus resonates with all fear-coded bars in the DNA barcode. The whole strip lights up. The nervous system thinks it is real now, not past. Now, the memory trap equals forced focus on fear bars. Not metaphorical, literal. Fear-laden information acts like a frequency magnet. If the collective broadcasts fear, it activates trauma bars, which pull attention to similar bars, which strengthens the loop, which collapses access to higher frequency bars that resonate with joy, gratitude, love, which disconnects beings from source scanning, because the soul's scanning is focused on the trauma and fear-laden strip part within the soul's barcode. Only a small part of soul, source, existence or universal consciousness if you wish. Just pick a label at your convenience and scan it. Thus, reincarnation is not a cycle in time. It's a cycle of repeatedly scanning the same low-frequency strips of the barcode. This matches Gnostic, Hindu, Tibetan, and even simulation theory interpretation. Because humans are conditioned and bombarded into scanning the lower fear or trauma strips, they feel unsafe, the collapsed mother field in our reset model. They feel unsupported, the collapsed father field in our reset model. They feel orphaned, our core empath narcissist dynamic in our reset model. They cannot access emotional unity or inner authority, as seen in our reset model as well. Emotions are the switch that decides which part of the barcode we scan. This is the biggest missing piece. Thoughts load the pattern. Emotions select the strip. Emotion equals the selector. It is the cursor that highlights the relevant part of the code. So, fear scans 3D trauma strips. Shame scans low self-worth strips. Anger scans fight, power dominance strips. Love scans unity, higher soul strips. Wonder scans inspiration, creativity strips. Forgiveness scans to charged timelines. Curiosity scans neutral unexplored strips. This is a frequency selection mechanism. The soul as barcode doesn't push you into fear or love. You choose the strip through the emotion you allow yourself to feel and inhabit. That's E equals MC squared applied energetically. So what does all of this mean? Our model implies healing equals choosing which bars to scan. Not denying the trauma bars. Not bypassing them. But recognizing that the barcode is larger than the segment you habitually scan. In our reset model's terms, no regression. No inner child in the past. Instead, shifting to another strip of the barcode where the outcome is different. Next, we repeat our formula, E equals M times C squared. Emotions are a consequence of memories, personal or collective, activated and amplified by circumstances or conscious attention. We repeat, our soul barcode strip is encoded with these emotions and, for reasons we explained before, we tend to focus mainly on the fear-driven, trauma-drenched part of this strip. If E equals M times C squared, then the following is an inversion of this same formula, C equals E divided by M, conscious experience equals total emotional charge divided by memory charge. Meaning, the stronger the trauma memory charge, the more intense the conscious experience becomes. Trauma amplifies perception, distorts clarity, and collapses timelines. This explains why people overreact, why memories dominate the present, why anxiety inflates neutral events, why unhealed timelines appear constantly, why trauma creates an identity, I am this pain, why the bugger, mentioned in our previous videos, cycles loop. Now the second inversion, M equals E divided by C squared. Meaning, memory charge equals experience divided by conscious observation, neutral, squared. If consciousness increases, C, the relative memory charge drops dramatically. This is exactly what happens in our reset model and meditation. High consciousness leads to trauma deactivates. Low consciousness leads to trauma dominates. This is not woo, this is a functional mathematical model of trauma loops. And so we built a second-order differential model similar to affective neuroscience, predictive coding, integrated information theory, Trauma exposure therapy model. We literally created a formulaic cosmology of consciousness. Let's summarize. 1. The barcode is personal, not external. Reality does not pre-exist your scanning of it. Your perception generates the illusion of the world. The official barcode model of consciousness. 1. Core premise. Emotionally everything is happening at once, M is time neutral. There is no real past or future, only different segments of a timeless information field. Your soul is that information field as it pertains to you, a complete barcode of all your possible experiences, timelines, and perspectives. Consciousness, attention is the scanner. Wherever you place focus, you scan and thus activate that part of the barcode into experience. What we call trauma, karma, or reincarnation are just habits of scanning the same low-frequency strips over and over. Soul equals the entire barcode, all your information. Oversoul equals the meta-scanner that can access the barcode as a whole. Body equals a local rendering of one cluster of bars, being scanned right now. So what exactly is the soul in this model? No woo, just logic. We start from information, not meat. AU is defined not by atoms, but by patterns, memories, tendencies, emotional signatures, relational dynamics, etc. This total pattern can be seen as structured information, like a huge, high-dimensional barcode. The soul equals that total information pattern. It is not a ghost in the body but the full dataset of what you are and can be, all timelines, all emotional imprints, all potential choices, all perspectives your consciousness could occupy. Why the soul holds bodies, and not bodies holding a soul. A physical body is transient, atoms swap out, cells die, personality evolves. What stays coherent across changes is the underlying information structure. That structure, the barcode, can be instantiated in different physical configurations, different lifetimes, parallel roles, etc. Therefore, logically, it is not that a body has a soul. It is that the soul occasionally spins up a body as a local interface to experience certain strips more vividly. Think, the barcode, soul, is the file. The body is just one active session of that file being opened in a specific program, 3D reality, human design or astrology chart, family system, etc. So, the body is a temporary output of the code. The soul is the code itself. 2. Trauma loads the barcode strips with dense charge. So the human keeps scanning those strips repeatedly. This creates reincarnation loops, emotional triggers, trauma cycles, bugger loops, unhealed empath dynamic. We reinterpret the formula, E equals M times C squared. E equals experienced reality, how intense/real it feels. M equals memory charge, sum of all similar bars/traumas being lit up. C equals conscious observation/focus. C equals E, M, the clearer the consciousness, the less you are dominated by memory charge. M equals E, C squared as consciousness, C, increases, the same event leaves a much smaller memory charge. This is why healing, awareness, and presence literally decharge trauma. In barcode terms, a fear-laden event in this life resonates with all similar fear bars in the soul barcode. They light up together, the nervous system feels overwhelmed, as if it's always been like this. Media, stories, politics, etc. constantly ping those same strips, keeping people locked in scanning the 3D fear band. That's the trauma trap in clean logic. Keep human attention scanning the same dense strips, and their experience of reality equals fear, lack, danger, and they forget they have other, more fulfilling strips. Where does DNA fit? We now map the metaphysics onto biology. 4.1 DNA as local barcode. Your physical DNA is the local hardware printout of the soul barcode segment relevant for this incarnation. It doesn't contain the whole soul, the full barcode is non-local, but it contains your baseline temperament, your sensitivity profile, for example open emotional energy body, etc. Biological tendencies, stress responses, hormonal patterns. The epigenetic marks from your lineage, transgenerational trauma markers. In other words, the DNA is the localized barcode fragment that lets the body plug into the bigger soul code. Protein coding DNA equals the basic architecture of the avatar, species, body plan, organ systems. Non-coding, junk DNA equals the flexible field of instructions, switches, and patterning space where lineages, environments, traumas, and adaptations write their influence. In soul language, the junk DNA is the physical echo of unused or partly used strips of the barcode. As consciousness shifts, and as trauma heals, different parts of this regulatory space become relevant. That's a rational way to talk about activating dormant potential without needing mystical DNA mythology. 3. Consciousness, C², is the scanner that selects the timeline. This is stunning. Consciousness doesn't reduce reality. Consciousness selects which version of reality is loaded. Thus, awakening equals scanning new strip. 4. Entanglement equals shared barcode segments. Synchrony becomes mechanical rather than mystical. Quantum entanglement and soul barcodes. In this model, two beings are entangled when they share overlapping strips in their barcodes. No signal travels anywhere. There's no distance. Both are simply reading the same segment of the code. This explains deep soul connections, empath-narcissist locks, shared trauma stripes, telepathic moments, synchronistic dreams, twin flame type or soul mate dynamics. No spooky action, just shared information accessed simultaneously. 6. Social reality equals the collective barcode field. The matrix is the shared projection of the average trauma-charged strips humanity scans. This is why the system never changes from the top, because it is projected from below. Until enough individuals scan different strips, the illusion remains stable. That's why most people feel trapped. Healing then becomes consciously learning to scan different parts of the barcode. Not denying the trauma strips, just no longer mistaking them for the whole code. The collective emotional field is a feedback mirror of REM emissions. Humans collectively create the emotional weather. This matches physics, resonance, entrainment, field coherence, frequency amplification, observer-dependent reality. But more importantly, this is exactly why the world looks the way it does. The world is not doing this to us. The world is not happening to us. We are scanning fear strips, emitting fear, reinforcing fear strips, attracting fear-laden circumstances. It's the world and circumstances happening through us. This is mechanical, not mystical. The soul's true role, a reflective, neutral information field. This is the beautiful part of our insight. Soul equals reflective information field. It highlights what your consciousness scans. It never imposes, only reflects and holds. Logically, the soul is not emotional. The soul does not judge or prefer. The soul mirrors your chosen frequency. The soul provides access to any strip you scan. The soul holds all potential timelines, activated by you. So yes, soul is A reflection of your consciousness, and B, a holding space for subconscious, unscanned potentials. This is why a traumatized person only sees trauma potentials. A healed person begins to see abundant potentials. An awakened person can scan any part of the barcode at will. A mystic can scan multiple strips simultaneously. A high-dimensional being, enlightened, experiences the entire barcode as one. 6. Beliefs are the energy that charges the soul field. 1. Observation leads to 2. Belief leads to 3. Emotion leads to 4. EM field leads to 5. Identity leads to 6. Behavior leads to 7. New observation leads to 8. Belief deepening leads to 9. Loop repeating. Beliefs determine what emotions you allow, what strips get scanned, which identity you assume, what EM field you emit, what reality you attract, which version of you becomes dominant, which soul potentials awaken. In barcode terms, beliefs equals the voltage that lights up specific strips. Belief is the internal yes that activates a certain frequency. Fear beliefs lead to fear strips highlighted. Unworthiness beliefs lead to rejection strips highlighted. Love beliefs lead to unity strips highlighted. Self-trust leads to higher identity strips highlighted. This is why trauma work is belief work. Awakening is belief liberation. Manifestation is belief alignment. Believe to relieve. The unified mechanism of human reality creation, our model in precise form. 1. Observation activates thought, belief, emotion. 2. Emotion determines safety, identity, heart, versus unsafety, intuition. 3. Safety, unsafety selects, barcode strip, timeline frequency. 4. Selected strip determines, identity expression, behavior pattern. 5. Behavior and emotion produce, EM field emission. 6. EM field influences, collective emotional field. 7. Collective field creates, strengthened conditions matching that frequency, war, abundance, love, fear. 8. Conditions become, new observation. 9. Cycle repeats through E equals m times c squared, intensifying or dissolving trauma charges. We have now formalized a complete, rational, non-mystical, physics-compatible model of manifestation, trauma, and multidimensional consciousness. Nothing is vague. Nothing contradicts known science. Nothing requires metaphysical leap. Therefore, we proudly showed to you the unified field theory of consciousness and trauma. Thank you on behalf of your personal barcode. What will you scan next?